Hello students, welcome again. Students, in one of my previous video lectures, I have discussed psychoanalytic criticism, which was inspired by the 20th century important psychologist Sigmund Freud. In the same manner, in today's lecture, we want to discuss this new type of criticism known as archetypal criticism, okay, which is again an inspiration from an important 20th century psychologist Carl Jung. Okay, in today's lecture we will discuss the origin of this new type of criticism. We will discuss different definitions of this new type of criticism, also features, and then at the end we will have a look at some important examples of archetypal criticism. Now see, this new type of criticism or a branch of criticism in English literature actually originated in 1930s and 40s. Remember these dates, okay, but it became very popular towards 1950s and 1960s. Okay, now what is this theory? This new theory or this new understanding, the way of understanding or the approach, okay, which became popular in the mid 20th century. In this theory, the critics try to interpret the text, okay, the work of art, by focusing on some several general myths, okay, or archetypes which are found in several symbols or images or some characters all throughout literature, past and present. Okay, so here in archetypal criticism, here the main focus is that they believe that meaning comes from some universal symbols, universal archetypes. And what are these archetypes that these critics try to find out from literature? Okay, we will discuss this later when we will discuss the features of archetypal criticism in detail. But first of all, let's try to understand the origin of the term archetypal. Okay, the word archetypal actually comes from two words, one Greek and the other is Latin. Okay, the Greek word arch, A-R-C-H-E, is an adjective, and the Latin word is a noun, typus, T-Y-P-U-S. Okay, so the word comes from Greek and Latin language. In Greek language, the word A-R-C-H-E, arch, means important, the most important, or the principal, or the highest one. Okay, and the another word, like there is a word type. Okay, this type is what? It is general. It refers to a general character or a general structure or a general trait, okay, commonly held in certain class. Okay, a type may be a full figure or representation or one symbol. Okay, consider the words, we use the words like typical, okay, we use the words typify, right? So arch, the most important, and typical means general. So most importantly, some general or universal ideas are inherent in human psychology, and these inherent universal ideas are known as archetype. Okay, so that is the meaning of the term. Now what is the definition of archetypal criticism? Let's try to understand. See, in this theory, in this new approach, 20th century approach, we focus on the analysis of some universal symbols, universal images in literature, art and culture. Okay, it is mainly based on the idea that some universal symbols and images or some universal patterns of human experience exist in all cultures, in all periods, no matter whether you are living in 18th century or 21st century, no matter whether you are living in America or Europe or Australia or India, everywhere some ideas are universally accepted and understood. Okay, some symbols, some patterns and some images are universal. Okay, now this idea of archetypal criticism actually was given by a psychologist whose name is Carl Jung. Jung, the spelling is Jung, but the pronunciation is Carl Jung. Okay, now he belonged to Switzerland, so you can call him a Swiss psychologist. He was interested in the study of mythology, religion, ancient symbols, ancient rituals of different cultures. Okay, he studied traditional ideas, traditions of the people. He also studied the psychology of the primitive people in the olden times, and then he came to a conclusion. He believed that man, our behavior is controlled by the individual and racial history. Okay, racial history means our ancestral history. We are all the products of the whole long chain of tradition and culture that we are living in. According to Carl Jung, all humans, they share what is called collective unconscious. Okay, unconsciously we have some collective ideas which are common among all human beings. Okay, that is known as the collective unconscious. This unconscious is actually the collection of different memories and images comprising of pre-human experiences. Okay, he believed that an individual personality is actually the product and container of the whole ancestral history. So, you should ask a question, why I am so? Why my belief, my attitude to life is so? Then the answer is, it is so because you are coming from so and so ancestry, so and so culture and tradition. So there are some common archetypes, like we believe in birth, we believe in rebirth. Okay, we believe in hero. Now when I speak the word hero, some common ideas are prevailing among all human beings living everywhere on the earth. Like hero is strong, the hero is tall. Okay, so some common ideas we all have similar on this earth. Like when I say old wise men, then we have some common picture in our minds. Okay, when I say the mother earth, or when I say the mother, we think that a lady who is caring, who is nurturing the child, who is taking care of everyone in the family. So some ideas are commonly understood by everyone on this earth, no matter where you are living, no matter when you are living. Okay, so these common ideas, common symbols must be found out, analyzed in literature which are present there. Okay, now so that is the main job of archetypal criticism. What are the important features of this criticism? There are 5 important features. Number 1, they focus on some repeated symbols and images, right? Say for example, in literature, we have one common symbol of the hero, we have another common symbol of the villain, we have another symbol of the father, the mother, we have the stories of journey. Okay, the hero passes from a conflict, he goes for a journey and he meets some obstacles in his journey. He fights with these obstacles and at the end he wins. So some things are common all throughout the history in literature. So they focus on these common symbols and common images. Another important feature of archetypal criticism is the connection to the collective unconscious. I told you, that this criticism is mainly based on the ideas on some common symbols, but then they are rooted in collective unconscious of the all human beings, right? What I understood as a mother in India, the same thing is understood by a person in Japan. Yes or no? The same thing is understood by a person in America, right? So one idea universally understood, unconsciously understood by all people. Okay, now Carl Jung describes the shared or universal experiences and the knowledge of humanity. So some knowledge is shared, some matters, some understandings are shared among all human beings. Okay. Now, number 3, exploration of some universal themes. I told you in literature we have some universal themes, right? Everyone believes in birth, everyone believes in death, everyone has the idea of rebirth, the struggle between good and evil, the fight between the hero and the villain. These are some universal themes which need to be understood in literature. Number 4, interdisciplinary approach. Now this archetypal criticism is an interdisciplinary study. Why? Because it is based on psychology. Okay, so it has connection with psychology. It is based on mythology. Mythology means the ancient mythical stories, anthropology, folklore. All these things are connected. So as a critique of archetypal criticism, you are doing an interdisciplinary study when you are analyzing literature. And number 5, fifth important feature of archetypal criticism is that here there is emphasis, there is more importance given to the reader's response. Okay, why? Because these symbols which we recognize, the images that we find in literature is not objective, it is subjective. Ultimately, somehow it depends upon the reader's understanding, reader's interpretation, how you look at a particular symbol. So these are the 5 important features of archetypal criticism. Now let's have some examples of real examples from literature. Number 1, we have one archetype, that is the hero, right? The hero archetype is a common motif in literature and also in mythology. When you read mythical stories, we have the stories of Lord Rama, we have the stories of Lord Krishna, Ravana. Okay, so some heroic figures we have already infused in our mind. Okay, we try to find out these characters in literature. Okay, an example of an archetype can be seen if you read Homer. Homer has written this Odyssey. In Odyssey, there is a character called Odysseus, right? Who goes for a long journey and faces so many challenges and troubles and obstacles on his journey, and then he returns home. Okay, so that Odysseus, the character, becomes a symbol of fight against nature, fight against other external agencies. So that is one archetype of hero which we find in most of the novels and stories which we read. In the same manner, we have another archetype called the mother archetype. Okay, if you read the Greek mythology, there is a character called Demeter. Demeter is the goddess of agriculture and the mother of Persephone. Okay, now this lady, the character mother, is the symbol of nurturing and protection. So now as I told you in the beginning, mother means someone who takes care of the family. Mother is someone who nurtures the family. Mother is someone who protects the family. Okay, so such characters are also present in our literature, which we need to find out, and they are universal archetypes. In the same manner, let me give you another third example, the cheat archetype. The person who is a cheater, the person who deceives someone. The cheat archetype is a mischievous character, okay, unpredictable character. You cannot predict about this character. Okay, someone who passes from struggles and someone comes in your life who cheats you and creates more troubles in your life. We have one character of Loki in Norse mythology. Norse mythology again is a British ancient stories, right? Mythological stories in which you come across this character Loki, who is known for the cleverness and ability to cheat the people. So from literature, when you are studying literature, you need to find out whether such characters are there or not. When you read, say for example, Othello, you find Iago as such a cheat character, right? In the same manner, there is a fourth archetype that we generally see, the shadow archetype. Okay, the shadow archetype represents the dark or unconscious aspects of the psyche. Often we associate this archetype with fear, anxiety, and suppressed desires. Okay, if you read this the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, there you come across the character Mr. Hyde, who is the shadow archetype. Okay, so all in all, after discussing these four examples, I can say that by analyzing and interpreting these common characters or common archetypes in literature, we try to get insight into the deeper meanings and themes of literature. So that is the main thing. Now, who are the major critics of archetypal criticism? Then remember the name Carl Jung, okay, a Swiss psychologist. Then we have Joseph Campbell, an American mythologist who has also studied mythology, and he wrote the book The Hero with 1,000 Faces. There he has applied this theory. Northrop Frye, again an important name in archetypal criticism. Remember the title Anatomy of Criticism, written by Northrop Frye. Maud Botkin, another name, another important critic who explored the archetypal motifs in literature. Harold Bloom, an American literary critic who is also an exponent of this type of criticism. Camille Paglia, an American cultural critic who was a feminist and believed in archetypal theory. And number 7, we have Robert Segal, an American scholar, American critic who has applied this theory in his criticism. Okay, now we can come to the conclusion that archetypal criticism is what? It is a type of criticism which focuses on some recurring symbols, means repeated symbols, repeated images and themes which we generally see in all through the history. Okay, the theory of archetypes was developed by Carl Jung. Okay, and archetypal criticism, here the critic tries to analyze literature by identifying and interpreting several common universal archetypes, okay, like the villain, the journey, the mother, the hero, and so on. Now there are two important limitations of this type of criticism. Why? Number one, some critics believe that as it tends to emphasize universal patterns and symbols at the expense of unique qualities of literature. When you try to find out these common universal symbols, themes from literature, you are actually ignoring the real unique quality of literary art, which is missing, which is missing in this type of criticism. Moreover, second limitation is that in archetypal criticism, it is too subjective, right? Too subjective, as different critics may interpret the same archetype in a different manner, right? Sometimes this happens. So these are the two important limitations of archetypal criticism. Now I come to the end of this discussion. If you still have any doubts or questions, do write to me in the comment section of this channel, and please do share this video among all your friends and classmates. Thank you for watching. Thank you.